All right, take two. So yesterday I wore the contacts from 7:45 a.m. till 8:30 p.m. and particularly over my left eye, it was like, oh, I guess I'll have to like peel these off. And yes, I do use the re-wetting drops quite frequently. I mean, like, I can take a contact out, but also, does no one think that's weird? Okay, moving on. And there were other things about the contacts and how my general overall visual experience is transpiring, but that'll be in a different video. This video is just to prove that I have once again allowed myself to be infantilized, and I am now going to do blurry 3D type activities for 15 minutes at varying depths as well. So there's the camera where my phone is, the front facing, or the selfie facing camera lens, and the same distance from me to that camera behind my camera phone is the blurry stereoscopic thing. So it's the same type of thing as this analgraph, transoglyph, whatever it is, but it's printed on a piece of paper, and the 3D images are blurry, which is weird because, like, why would you make the lines of the 3D images blurry? I'm not sure how that is useful to the skill, because there's like black ink also on the page, and it's just the green and the red lines that are blurry. Like, what? I will politely assume that that does something for one's brain and you need it to be blurry to do something, but I do not know what that is, other than causing my eyes to continue defocusing when I would like to see a stereoscopic image, which seems to not have anything to do with my distance vision, because then I'm defocused looking into the distance and not like seeing anything. Anyway, so we'll do 5 minutes at each distance, roughly. That way it's the 15 minutes and not a second more. And then also I will work with this thing, because hey, maybe like doing these will be of benefit. It will not. And then someday, with a distance plus ring notwithstanding, I might be able to like not just know which ones are popping, but what the actual shapes are, because they are usually like disfigured. The wild thing is I actually looked up like, what is this phenomenon of which I experience again, and there's names for them, but like there's no medical reason of which I have that phenomena, and also there's nothing wrong with my eye. And the things that would cause that are like, oh well, if you look at an Amsler grid you should see like something obviously wrong, and man, I do not. Moving on. Okay, so it's 2:52. Joy. Let's start for near, since contrary to popular belief, near is easier for me. I'll do this way. So we're green on my left, the hand I wear my rings on. Okay, 2:53 officially, so what's that? 5 plus, and oh, and I have to turn this both ways so that I get convergence and divergence. And I can't off the top of my head remember which it is, but that's not the point. You should be able to line up your eyes at all distances. Also, one might use my mini blinds and positioning of myself to notice if I'm holding my head, like, am I doing any kind of a body tilt or whatever that I personally am unaware of? This would be a great feedback tool that probably only I and Sheree are going to watch. Except I don't have the balls to watch this. I'm just going to put it out there, and maybe someday far away from now when I'm dead, someone will care and help somebody else into the future. Okay, what are we looking at? Well, so, okay. I usually start with things that are either obvious or, you know, like something that I can, good Lord. Okay, well, the fun part is that everything popped out in different ways, but they're doing it wrong. And I suspect this must be the cross-eyed one because, wow. All right, so first of all, primarily the left side pops out more. Can I make the other side? Yes. But when I do, the other side collapses. Okay, now the whole thing is popping out at different depths. Okay, well maybe that was the point of the blur, because actually some of those are clear. Or clear enough that I wouldn't complain. Over on the left they are. No, on the right they are. These ones are clear. And then on the left they're not. Also, they're not stable, so like, how dare I look around? Then I lose the pop. So I have to pay attention to your periphery. Boy, howdy am I. Let's see. 5. What is that? The 3 to the 8. 3 more minutes. Okay, well, I'll turn it over. I will also say that it's got these like X's and O's that are supposed to line up. They do not. But I still get the depth, so that's disturbing. Okay, I feel like I can tell that these are supposed to be larger image perceptions in comparison to the other one. So that makes me think that yes, this is the wall-eyed one. That and the fact that there's actually significant discomfort over on the far left, where there's like doubling, which I assume is like a lack of fusion. So I, again, will start with something like, let's relax. Eye roll. Let's look for things that make sense. Okay, well, first of all, the circles are supposed to be concentric circles, and you know, they're kind of like squashed to varying degrees on one part or another, and what part that is changing very rapidly all the time. And those letters are not stacked, and sometimes there's 2 circles, and this is definitely giving me a headache. So this must be the wall-eyed one. Bitchin', I can like not even do it now. Defocus your eyes. Pretend you don't like seeing. Okay, I got like 1 more minute for the near. Good. Well, near at wall-eyed. I also had to put the white background behind it because since it's clear, I can't see anything. Just pretend it's floaty cupcakes. Maybe a little higher. Nope. Oh, wait, nope. Well, sort of. Oh, there it goes. Christ. Okay. Yeah, now everything is, it's like there's a middle depth, and some things are floating more forward, but most of the things are floating behind. There's actually some ghost images, like it's not quite fused. My right eye feels like really dried out. The concentric circles still aren't concentric. The stuff that's supposed to be stacked in them still is not. But yeah, it's like big and blurry and floating, and at no point was there suppression. It just wasn't like fused. Now here's the problem. I keep saying that this stuff isn't stacked, so I fuse the image, but like in what position? Okay. Yay. That was very uncomfortable. What did I do? Red on the right. We'll flip that, and now we're gonna do here. Do they look better? Now my storage is low. Shit. Well, let's at least try to get through our kangaroos, which are behind the camera. And I think this is as bright as our house gets, and it's pretty dark. Also, may I point out that looking at like a 8x10 or whatever size printer paper is, okay, yeah, there it is, it's floating, wow. It's like, looking at this far away, I'm not really sure how that contributes to like looking out my damn windshield and seeing like double light poles, but okay. So yeah, there's one kangaroo popping toward me and one kangaroo that is actually depressed past the little black line drawing that is part of the illusory tool. Okay, that's been a full minute. Sucks. The thing is, though, what good does it do me to be able to... it's like, I feel like I'm still converging. I would like to be able to take in a whole visual scene. A thought. Okay, well, we'll just stare at our floaty cupcakes, except they're kangaroos. Anyone know any good jokes? Really hope that my eyes are, if nothing else, getting cosmetically aligned. I don't really feel like 15 minutes is gonna like freaking undo the amount of reading and so forth that I do in a heavy minus lens. But okay. We'll just sit here, let our kangaroos float around while our eyeballs dry out and our headache increases. Of note, it really looks like they're moving a lot, like swaying side to side, slowly bouncing up and down, moving nearer and further with like partial ghost images. So obviously the more I stare at this, the more it is breaking down. That makes sense in context, except for it doesn't. Okay, at the 3 is 9. 2 more minutes of staring at kangaroos that are floating. Yeah, in fact, it really feels like I have to just turn my left eye kind of... like, the left eye doesn't suppress. So it feels like it's having to, like, try even less to show me anything. You know, like it's having to blur itself to meet its mate. And fighting its own phoria. Anyway, I think those kind of flattened out. That is not the design, but now I'm done. Great. Oh, God. Do they look better? I hope so. I see 2 of me from time to time on the camera. That's great. Now for this thing. Yay, don't even get me started on what the screen looks like, so we're not even going to bother with that. First of all, everything is blurry. Check. And my complaint. This plus sign is an I-beam with the beam on the vertical right and horizontal teeing in the left, except that it's not like centered. So it's not like I'm just not seeing this side of the plus. It looks like the whole thing moved over. I will probably be forced to draw a picture that no one will care about. Okay. Do any of these pop? Ironically, not after that. Let's start with the animals. The animals are always easier. Okay, I got a blurry, ugly fox, and the more I try to make the fox clear, the more that I start getting 2 rabbits, and not like astigmatism rabbits, like obviously ocular misalignment rabbits. Anyway, the fox is like barely floating. The more the fox floats, actually, like the more sometimes other animals want to float in the surrounding areas that shouldn't be. And the boxes don't look similar to each other. Okay, so pretend that I have whatever it is you need the Amsler grid for, of which, to my knowledge, I do not. It looks like if I looked at an Amsler grid now, there would be like some obvious problems. Relax your gaze. Stare blankly into the abyss. Wow, that like totally makes sense that I would do some red-green activities for stereopsis, and it would fatigue my eyes so badly that they couldn't do this. Except for that it doesn't, and man, I can see these through any lens. I mean, I guess maybe if I want to have cosmetically aligned eyes, I like don't get to see fine grade stereopsis, and I guess I can live with that, although I used to actually have somewhat both at the same time. Yeah, wow, it just is doubling and suppressed. So like it's 2 rabbits side by side. One is more faint than the other, and they're kind of overlapping, and it's not like the astigmatism, because the astigmatism isn't like up close. It's like a small pinpoint dot of a traffic light like far away. So there's a difference between like 2 light poles being doubled and like a circular triplicate fine point of light on a light pole far away by comparison. And horrifying as it might sound, I am certain that I can experience those phenomena simultaneously. Monocular diplopia due to what irregular corneal astigmatism, I don't know, who cares, high refractive hour, and then also diplopia due to ocular misalignment and simultaneous but non whatever it is perception. Anyway, I'm done. Yay.